Last month, I was at a concert and I saw a bunch of cameras that I hadn't seen since I was little. I saw a camcorder, a bunch of cameras from the 2000s. Somebody had a freaking Nintendo DSi, and none of these people were on their phones at all throughout the entire concert. Right now, the trend of going analog has become increasingly popular. Vinyl sales have now increased to make it a $1 billion industry. Book sales are increasing. Digital camera sales are up. It seems pretty odd for everyone to be wanting to replace their devices that can do everything for a device that can only do one thing. But maybe that exposes something about technology. Maybe current technology is making it so. We're all multitasking constantly, whether it's glancing at your phone for a brief moment during a boring scene in a TV show, or switching away from work to check a text. There's a reason why Netflix is pushing for all their shows to be able to be understood while we're also on our phones. Our generation has a serious focus problem, and the main reason for this is how tech is designed today. Devices used to specialize in really one thing, nothing more than that. Phones were for calling and texting, TVs were for watching TV, MP3 players or iPods were for listening to music. Everything had its own specific purpose, and the easiest thing to do was have a different item for everything you might want to do. Today's technology has a stark contrast from any of that older tech, and it all started with the iPhone.
From web surfing, to a menu of your voicemails that look more like emails, to Google Maps.
It's not true GPS, but it does show you each driving instruction.
To, the phone, which isn't exactly front and center.
You have to turn the thing on, then you hit the home button, then you hit the phone button, then you hit the address book, and then you tap the names.
And in case you hadn't noticed by now, there's no physical keypad. It's virtual.
And now basically every device is this way. Every device wants you to be able to do basically everything on it. You can watch TikToks, scroll YouTube, and even play games all directly on your TV. And your watch can text people, call people, you can look at your photos, you can add other apps. And we can't stop there, because your fridge can now display recipes, let you watch TV, display photos, and even play music. And I could probably go on. But all in all, the biggest difference our technology today presents is the lack of friction. But if the movement to analog has shown us anything, it's that the iPhone wasn't the first phone that could do everything. So phones actually had a lot more functionality other than calling or texting. They could take photos, some allowed you to play music, some even allowed you to scroll on the web. But the main reason why the flip phone wasn't seen as revolutionary was because it was really difficult to use. It was slow, it was hard to navigate, the keyboard was super annoying, it was too inconvenient for anything other than calling or texting. But the iPhone was able to get rid of this inconvenience that the flip phone brought. Why would you take out a map when you could just pull out a map on your phone? There are really good functions that have been added by devices being able to do everything. I mean, I love that I'm able to hand off my FaceTime to any device I own, but we can't say the same about every other device. I mean, I doubt any of you guys use your fridge to watch YouTube, but with all these possibilities that we're able to do on these devices, friction has basically dissolved into nothingness. There's a stark difference between how we used to complete work and how we complete work now. When I was younger, when I wanted to do my homework, I only had my textbook and my notebook in front of me. Nothing else. So my only options were to actually do my homework, stare at the wall, or read ahead in my textbook. So if I even ever got distracted, it was a lot easier to rein in my distractions. Now I often use a laptop to work, and this does not bode too well for me. I'll often be working on something super focused and I'll have a fleeting thought to go check my email. And I'll be on my email a second later, losing all that focus I've been building up. Or I'll be on my laptop and I'll tell myself time for a break, and I'll start cruising other websites and I'll completely forget what I was doing in the first place. It is so easy to distract yourselves now, and laptops definitely are not the biggest problem. I'll go on my phone for one specific task, and before I even realize it, I'll be on some random app that I didn't even mean to go on. Phones are really hard to focus on because they're literally designed to have no friction at all. So we've begun to try to create this friction ourselves. A few months ago, I made a video about turning my phone into a Dumbphone. And what I expected was to never want to go on these apps anymore because it was so inconvenient. But what actually ended up happening was I just started scrolling random apps. I was scrolling LinkedIn, guys. Do you guys understand how much of a load that is? The reason why I don't think it was as effective as switching to an analog device is because the core of an iPhone is to be frictionless. It's like telling a lion to be a vegetarian. but people still try to subdue their phone in other ways. You can get a silly little brick.
Tap your phone to the brick or hold to brick from anywhere and instantly activate brick mode. All distractions are blocked and a timer starts tracking your time bricked. Step 3. Place your brick somewhere out of reach. Because brick is
It's basically the same thing as this phone jail or the phone cubby thing that we have to put in our phones in sometimes in some classes in high school. I don't know if you guys have to do that. I don't know how old you are. I don't want to assume. A brick is a very temporary solution. Once you get rid of the brick, you'll probably go right back to the same screen time that you had when you first started. For friction to actually work, it needs to be an actual physical limitation. It shouldn't be that we just can't use the device for that. It should be that we don't want to use the device for anything besides its one job. So really, nothing shows this better than the analog bag trend.
Today we're making an analog bag. First, grab a bag you already own. Next, decide what you want this bag to help you do. Next, add 3 main things to your bag. Now add all of the small things that will make this enjoyable for you to use. Again, I'll pop up some ideas. Keep it light. The goal is to make this enjoyable, not overwhelming.
What's most interesting is why people are packing these bags in the first place.
This is my analog bag because cool girls are not doom scrolling in 2026, so every time I get the itch to scroll on my phone, we grab this baby.
It's being marketed as an anti-scroll bag. People are literally using these bags so that they don't spend as much time on their phones. And when you look further into this analog trend, you'll find that people are literally using their Nintendo DS in an attempt to reduce their screen time. For some reason, it seems better to use video games than to look at our phone screens right now. If you guys remember, there used to be a ton of bad press about how bad video games were for us, and parents used to work really hard to make sure that we did not stare at our video games for too long.
I thought college was going to cure him from his hobby or his addiction, but it didn't cure him, it made it worse.
Esports have exploded in popularity on college campuses across the nation, raising long-term physical and mental health concerns.
But the thing is, video games only allow us to focus on one thing at a time. I remember spending hours on the Minecraft world with my friends until my dad would come in and say, "Alright boys, time for bed." That's literally what he would say. And when this happened, we were lost in the game with no sense of time. But it felt good. It felt focused. And we had stuff to show for it. We had progress in our world and a deepened relationship with our friends from spending hours on the game with them. It was nice. I can't recall a single time when I've been stoked about spending an hour on Reels. When we scroll, our focus is like a little pinball machine, getting pushed back and forth. And we don't have to dwell on basically anything. We see something new basically every second. So what ends up happening is we have an hour wasted and nothing to remember it for. But by contrast, when we do some more analog type task, we actually do have some sort of marker of what we spend our time doing. And we can start to bring intention back into our lives again. I've been reading a book, guys.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, guys. Stop, guys. Stop. And what I do notice whenever I read is that I get a sense of accomplishment from seeing how far I am from the starting point. And even when I have a really unfocused reading session, I can still remember what I consumed. And this was a really stark contrast from how I used to spend my free time. I used to just fill it with whatever I could find to do on my phone or my laptop. Maybe it would be scrolling through my Lakers subreddit. Love you, Bronny.
Thanks, man.
And your dad too, man.
Love you too.
Or scrolling through Reels. Free time did not mean doing something I loved. Free time just meant doing something until I had to be somewhere again. Analog items help make that time more meaningful. I don't even think it's about how much progress is made all the time. I think part of it is just being able to show that you have focus. Because right now, when you ask anyone what they like to do these days, everyone usually has an answer. But realistically, I doubt anyone does any of these hobbies all that often. I think most people are just on their phones all the time. And you see this whenever you catch basically anyone with a spare second of free time. You can catch them on their phone on the couch, on a walk, or even while they're supposed to be paying attention to something else. If you go into a classroom right now where professors allow the students to be on their laptops, you will find a bunch of students pretending to take notes while triple whatever tasking, doing a bunch of different stuff, everything they can do on their laptops instead of actually just focusing on one thing. The fact that tech can do everything now has made us all more similar because everyone is on it so constantly. So now telling people your screen time is low or having an analog device on you makes you seem really cool and unique. People who read books seem like the minority who have been able to conquer their attention span and actually focus. And it sounds really silly to say, but when I actually first started reading my book, I could not read more than 10 pages at once. For me, just being able to finish the book was an accomplishment in itself because I just thought my attention span would not allow me to read the full book. And I don't think I'm alone in this thought. I think right now it just feels like being able to read or being able to do more analog type tasks has become a sort of status symbol, like a higher class that not everyone is able to reach. Most of the time I feel like a screen is what encompasses most of my day. We look at screens for work, we look at screens for entertainment, we look at screens for community, and because of this, it feels like nothing we do on screens matters that much. Everything just kind of blurs together and disappears. Take cameras for example. Cameras are designed to take photos or video. These are the only two functions that they're designed to offer. But there's something kind of special about this fact. If you have a nice camera and you spend a lot of money on it, you're going to want to take the best photos you can, the best photos possible. And there's also a special kind of intentional feeling involved. When you're carrying around your camera, everyone around you knows that you're about to take photos. You know you're going to take photos. It is photo taking time, and that's something that only cameras offer. We all take photos and videos on our phone, but it never feels as intentional. When you're walking around with your phone, people can't really tell that you're going to take photos or videos until you really tell them, unless you have your phone just held up. And it's not as tangible. You don't have to physically press down a button. It feels like you can do anything on it. You have to fight all these other notifications. A camera is unequivocally for photos and video, while a phone can basically be for anything. Analog objects tell you and everyone around you exactly what you're there to do. I saw that clearer than ever at that concert. At first thought, I just figured that they brought these analog items so that they wouldn't have to look at their phones. But it was much more than that. It was an indication that the only other thing they wanted to do at that concert, rather than be in the moment, was create memories for viewing later. The physical object itself served as a reminder of that intention. They could only take photo or take video. It had no other function. And after the concert, they would have to move that footage to another device. You have to witness it twice. You have to spend more time in that moment. Friction isn't always such a bad thing. In a world where every device wants to be everything, there's power in a device that can only do one thing. An analog bag isn't just full of stuff, it's full of intention. It represents a decision to actually pay attention to how we spend our time, and not waste any of it just mindlessly waiting for the next moment to begin. Focus is a status symbol. It's a symbol of not wanting to waste our lives, it's a symbol of intention and identity. We spent the last 20 years trying to get rid of any friction within technology. But in doing so, we made having intention so much harder. And right now we're realizing that this friction that we tried so hard to get rid of was actually the only thing keeping us grounded. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on trying to read, even when my brain feels like a pinball. I'm gonna keep on carrying more things, even if it's inconvenient. But more importantly, I'm gonna try to focus on one thing at a time. Because I want to remember what I did. And you should too, because when we look back, I don't think we'll regret it. Comment down below your favorite analog thing to do, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching till the end. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.